That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
All right, guys, we are skyrocketing to 10,000 subscribers. I mean, literally, a little over 2 weeks ago, we were at 2,000. It took us 18 months of uploading video almost every single day to get to 2,000. Since then, y'all have just completely blown the channel up. I mean, going out there, smashing the like button on every single video, leaving a comment on every single video, subscribing to the channel, turning on notifications. I mean, y'all are absolutely just the best fantasy football audience on YouTube. And as I've said a million times, because of that, I'm going to continue to upload as many fantasy football videos as I can from here on out. And I'm going to continue to live stream every single day. I'm not going to miss a single day of live streaming. We're going to be continuing to go Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday nights, and then Sunday mornings. So guys, please, if y'all are not already, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. We are only going to continue to improve. We are only going to continue to climb the charts. But that's enough rambling. Let's get into this video and let's talk about our first wide receiver. And I just wanted to come out here, get him over with right away. A guy that I think you should buy low on going into week 4. And I want to bring him up first because I got him entirely wrong in week 3. I mean, Hollywood Brown, y'all know, I'm going to be the first person to say it. I went out there and I was aggressive with telling people to start Hollywood Brown. Almost every question that I got asked during the live stream, it was player X or Hollywood Brown. And I was all aboard. I was saying, guys, you want to plug Hollywood Brown in as many of your lineups as possible. This wide receiver is going to be at the minimum a wide receiver 2 this week. And we understand that any given week, Hollywood Brown has the upside of a 30-point game. I projected that this Kansas City Chiefs and Baltimore game was going to be a lot more high scoring than it was, at least on the Baltimore side of it. I thought that we were going to see that the Ravens were finally forced to push the ball down the field to try to keep up with Patrick Mahomes. And yes, I mean, they were kind of forced to, but they just could not. And it was extremely surprising seeing just Mark Andrews really let down fantasy owners, seeing that Hollywood Brown was not able to get any big plays going. But regardless, I think that we are just going to have to accept the fact that if you are an owner with Hollywood Brown, or if you're an owner going out there considering to trade for Hollywood Brown, that because of the way that he operates on the football field, because he's one of these guys that goes out there and just operates behind the safeties. I mean, he's trying to break off big plays every given week. We kind of understand, like the same thing I was saying with Michael Gallup last week, that yes, they are going to put up their dud performances and they're going to put up spike performances. And it's just going to be a matter of if you can project when that is going to happen. And if you can, you are going to be an extremely profitable player if you own these guys that are going to be highly volatile week to week, but have that massive ceiling. Now, I understand what we saw on Monday from Hollywood Brown was extremely discouraging, but this is why he's a buy low wide receiver. I'm not going out here and telling y'all to trade for him with where his value was last week, although I was doing that back then. Now I'm saying that if his value has continued to fall lower, I think that this is a wide receiver that based on his 30-point ceiling that he has any given week, based on his just insane efficiency that he saw his rookie season, coming in as a bigger player, coming in and expecting Lamar Jackson to obviously not necessarily hold up the same amount of fantasy production that he himself had in 2019, but maybe elevate as a passer a little bit. And we saw some flashes of just Lamar Jackson in week 1 against Cleveland, putting on display a deep ball that we have not seen from Lamar Jackson ever. So I think it still is in the range of outcomes that Lamar Jackson is going to take a step forward as a passer. We are going to see Marquise Brown continue to be highly efficient with the targets that he sees. And it was just very demoralizing. But this is the thing with owning Marquise Brown. You're going to have to take the losses with the wins. Who knows? He could come out here. He could put up this, I believe, what was it, like a 4-point game against the Kansas City Chiefs, and then turn it around, put up a 30-point game against Washington next week. And that is, nobody's really going to be extremely surprised about that. And I will say this, we know. I mean, I've talked about this a million times. It would be different that if the Baltimore Ravens played a team like the Miami Dolphins at noon on a Sunday, and nobody really saw Hollywood Brown go out there and perform. Nobody really understood how big of a disappointment that he was. But because he played on Monday night in a game that was the best matchup of that we are going to see all season until the NFL playoffs. I mean, that game probably had higher ratings than anything we are going to see until the NFL playoffs. I mean, everyone saw Hollywood Brown disappoint. Everyone is lowering their opinion and their value on him. And I think that we should just objectively take a step back and realize that, yes, because of the way this wide receiver operates, he's going to have those dud games. We just need to go out there and we need to try to capture those big spike weeks. And those are still in the range of outcomes for Hollywood Brown. So guys, I'm doubling down, just like whenever I told y'all to buy low on Allen Robinson going into week 2. It did not work out then, but then going into week 3, I doubled down and repeated myself, and then we saw those returns happen. I'm doing the same thing with Hollywood Brown at the moment. Go out there, go get Hollywood where you can. Now, our next wide receiver, I think that it's just worth mentioning him just for a little bit because, I mean, maybe just an owner doesn't necessarily understand what just happened in week 3, and you can go out there and you can trade him for a small discount, nothing like you're going to see with Hollywood. But Stefon Diggs, yes, he caught that touchdown pass in week 3, but he had absolutely no volume. And this was due to going up against Jalen Ramsey. And I understand that Ramsey is by no means the cornerback that he was in Jacksonville. I mean, that was just a tier above any other defensive back in the league. He has regressed since then, but still, he is a very good cornerback that you do have to be worried about the matchups. And he shadowed Stefon Diggs this game. Stefon Diggs did burn him on that touchdown pass. I mean, where he just put a nasty move on him and he was just nowhere near. It was just disgusting. And what I am extremely excited about with Stefon Diggs, while I have Stefon Diggs, I don't think I have him on a single fantasy football roster because I was worried about how long it was going to take him to transition to a new offense in an off season that we did not see a preseason. We did not see the regular training camp schedule. So I was worried about Stefon Diggs, but through what we saw through 2 weeks, I think that we can confidently project Stefon Diggs to be an alpha wide receiver on this Buffalo Bills team, and we understand that he has been so far the most efficient wide receiver in the NFL. I need to double check to see if that stat still holds true after week 3, but it was, he was by far and away just game breaking in terms of his efficiency through the first 2 weeks, and I think that we saw his volume dip in week 3 because of the cornerback matchup, but with Josh Allen going out here and already just showing us that he is in love with Stefon Diggs, he's going to be force feeding him targets. Stefon Diggs can go out there, win at any level in the football field. We saw this with, two or 3 years ago in Minnesota, he was primarily just a deep ball wide receiver. Then they transitioned him over to being just a guy that ran more short to intermediate routes. Stefon Diggs was just in a horrible scheme that was not able to maximize his talent in Minnesota. But after what we've seen so far in Buffalo, I think that I was just clearly wrong on Stefon Diggs coming into 2020. And I think this is a clear buy low opportunity after he had a tough matchup against Jalen Ramsey. Now, I've talked about a couple things I was wrong about. Let's talk about one thing I was right, and that was I did not draft DJ Chark on a single team this year, and I just did not necessarily like DJ Chark's price in fantasy football because I did not believe that Gardner Minshew was going to be able to get a ton of volume to every guy in this offense. But regardless, we are looking at this situation with DJ Chark. I think that people are not necessarily understanding the type of ceiling that this player has because of his elite level athleticism. Talk about someone who has been efficient with his targets. DJ Chark is right up there with the best wide receivers. And when he comes back to this offense, which I expect to happen in week 4, one, he's not going to have a particularly very tough matchup going up against, I believe, the Cincinnati Bengals. If I'm wrong on that, please let me know in the comments. But regardless, he has that decent matchup, and we understand that he's going to be coming back to an offense. While, yes, a ton of people are excited about Keelan Cole. I have no idea why. I don't know if there are people out here misleading y'all and with what Keelan Cole is, but I just cannot fathom that Keelan Cole is going to have a significant role on this team with both Laviska Shenault emerging and with DJ Chark returning. We're going to see Keelan Cole go into the background. We're going to see DJ Chark step up as an automatic wide receiver 1 on a team that does not have that many weapons in the offense outside of an emerging player with Laviska Shenault and outside of a running back who's flashed, just an immense amount of talent through 3 weeks. But as I've said before with James Robinson, these guys that come out of nowhere, yes, they can flash and they can burn bright, but usually, unless they're Arian Foster, that burn does not last that long. So regardless, I think DJ Chark is going to be one of these wide receivers, not only based on his athleticism and his talent that he put on display in 2019, that is going to make an appealing buy at the moment, but also I don't think too much has changed in this overall situation where we should go out there and be significantly lowering him down with where we had him pre-draft. And similar to Kenyon Drake, where I went out there and told y'all in the last video that Kenyon Drake I was lower on coming into 2020, but now that we've seen his value fallen so much, I think it may actually make sense to go out there and buy him low because whoever drafted him is extremely frustrated at this point, and I don't think that they're going to be really too concerned about maximizing value with DJ Chark. Okay, but thank y'all guys. I really appreciate y'all coming out here watching the video. Guys, all y'all support has just been unreal. We are going to continue to upgrade the videos. We are going to continue to give y'all as much fantasy football content as I possibly can. Y'all can probably tell by my voice that, it's going away. I go down, and we had to end the stream last night just because I was getting so lightheaded from just projecting nonstop. But regardless, we are going to continue pushing out as hard as we can, and it's all because of y'all's fantastic support that y'all showed the channel. I truly, truly appreciate it, guys, and I will see y'all in the live stream tonight. And yeah, have a great day, guys.
That may be the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.